Just looking, gets it to Bryant. Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in!
Imagine waking up at 4 a.m. every day. Not because you have to, but simply because you want to make the most of your time. Dedicating every fiber of your being to becoming the best version of yourself. Understanding the sacrifices it will take and being prepared to proceed regardless. Well, for Kobe Bryant, that was the reality. Kobe Bryant, also known as the Black Mamba, was a basketball player whose relentless drive to becoming a master of his craft inspired its own mini philosophy, Mamba Mentality. Mamba Mentality became a way of life for people trying to transform Kobe's habits into their own. There wasn't a clear definition to Mamba Mentality, so it began to be misinterpreted and thus didn't yield any results. Well, we are going to give you 4 lessons that you can take from Kobe Bryant to become a master of your craft. This is How to Attain Mamba Mentality, 4 lessons from Kobe Bryant. Lesson number 1. Clarity. It is challenging to accomplish anything if you don't have clarity. Clarity in thought, clarity in goals, and clarity in a plan. That way you are unshakable and unaffected by outside influence. For Kobe, he knew that he wanted to master the game of basketball. Kobe discovered his love for the game when he was living in Italy, where his father played as a pro. He was clear in his intention. He wanted to master the game of basketball. So he spent time going to his father's training sessions and games. He would also watch NBA games that his grandfather recorded for him, over and over and over again, to study the game. And when he wasn't watching the game, he was on the court playing it. Kobe was clear in his thought process. He knew the more he would consume and learn about the game, and the more reps he got on the court, implementing what he learned, he would be able to grow exponentially. When he returned to the US and went to high school, he got another idea. He knew that if he woke up at 4 a.m, he would be able to get in an extra workout, allowing him to outwork and outgrow his peers. This became easy for Kobe because he was clear in his goal, and therefore he was clear in thought process, and his habits soon followed. This is what we can learn from Kobe. You must first be clear when defining your goal, and then come up with a clear plan to follow so you can achieve them. Lesson number 1. Clearly define your goal and be specific in your plan to achieve it. This allows you to be unshakable in the face of adversity. Lesson number 2. Motivation. If you set a goal that requires a long time before you get results, it can be quite challenging to maintain that motivation. So Kobe would continually find ways to keep himself motivated. This was also a trick Michael Jordan would use. Whether it was someone who used to wear his shoes or even not wear them when they played him, like what happened with DeMar DeRozan, or like this story from Jay Williams.
I'm going to get there at 3 o'clock. I want to make sure I make 400 made shots before I go back into the room, and then I sit in the sauna and I get ready for the game. Who do I see? I see Kobe Bryant, already working out. So once I set my foot across that line, I started working out. And so I worked out for a good hour and a half. And when I came off, after I was done, I sat down, and of course I still heard the ball bouncing. I look down, I'm like, this guy's still working out? So he was working out. Like, it looks like he was in a dead sweat when I got here. And he's still going. And it's not like his moves are nonchalant, lazy. He's doing like game moves, you know? I sit there and I unlace my shoes. I'm like, I want to see how long this goes. So I sit out there and watch. Man, that game, he drops 40 on us, okay? And after the game is over, I'm like, I have to ask this guy. Like, I have to understand, like, why he works like that. Right. So after the game is over, I'm like, hey, Kobe, like, why were you in the gym for so long? He's like, because I saw you come in. and I wanted you to know that it doesn't matter how hard you work, that I'm willing to work harder than you.
Wow.
Kobe found extra motivation by telling himself he will not be outworked by anyone. Of course, this is an extreme example, but it goes to show anything can be used as motivation. We all know it isn't necessary to rely on motivation, but if you constantly find new sources of motivation, it will keep you hungry and add a little more fun to your quest. Lesson number 2. Remain disciplined and find sources of fun and short-term motivation. Whether it's small competitions or just trying to prove you are capable of doing something you've seen others do. You notice how Kobe was working out regardless, but when he saw Jay Will come in to train, he gained that added motivation to spend even longer training. Lesson number 3. Self-reflection. Kobe was renowned for studying himself, always looking for something to improve. He always challenged himself to improve and iron out any weaknesses. An example of this came early in his professional career, where in a playoff game against the Utah Jazz, Kobe Bryant airballed not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 shots, and the Lakers were eliminated. This was the exact thought process and self-reflection that Kobe went through right after that horrible game.
Go. Get over yourself, right? Like you're worried about how people may perceive you and like you're walking around and it's embarrassing because you shot 5 air balls. Get over yourself, right? And then after that, it's okay, well, why did those air balls happen? Got it. High school, year before, we played 35 games, max, right? Week in between, spaced out, plenty of time to rest. In the NBA, it's back to back to back to back to back to back to back. I didn't have the legs. So you look at the shot, every shot was online. Every shot was online, but every shot was short, right? I gotta get stronger. I gotta train differently.
Kobe didn't feel sorry for himself. He didn't feel frustrated. He got over himself and he figured out what he needed to do to fix this weakness and make sure it never happened again. This self-reflection is important. Being honest with yourself about what you need to work on and putting in place the processes to correct these weaknesses. Although it can be uncomfortable initially, it will make you more well-rounded and improve your self-belief and trust in yourself. Lesson number 3. Find lessons for growth when things go wrong. Understand what went wrong and identify and work on any weaknesses of your craft. This is the key to mastery. Lesson number 4. Seeking out challenges. Kobe was always looking for ways to challenge himself, ensuring he put in even more hours in the gym. Some evidence of this was during the 1999-2000 season. Kobe had broken his wrist on his dominant hand, meaning he would miss significant game time that season. But to Kobe, all that meant was an opportunity to practice more and develop his weaker hand. John Celestin came to practice expecting Kobe not to be there at all due to his injury. But lo and behold, when John Celestin arrived, Kobe was already there with a cast over his dominant hand, shooting with his weak hand. Kobe knew that if he mastered his offhand, that would open up even more opportunities on the court. Despite his injury, he never wavered in his approach or his desire to improve. It made him see this as a challenge rather than a problem. We can all do the same. Even the best plans can be foiled by outside influence. That's when it becomes imperative on us to look for a solution and an opportunity to work. For example, a writer that usually writes romance novels may want to try their hand at writing a fantasy novel to learn new story techniques that they can implement in their own ideas. Lesson number 4. Seeking out and rising to challenges is growth. If you seek out challenges, it will prepare you for the unexpected ones life will throw your way. If you follow these 4 lessons, you too can become a master in your chosen craft. Remember, there may be times where you fail or fall short when attempting to add these lessons to your life. But don't allow yourself to get too down or beat yourself up. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and go again. For more content created like this, check out our YouTube channel or the Drunken Wizard website, www.drunkenwizard.com, where we have blog posts, and the Drunken Wizard magazine, which offers a practical guide with tips and exercises to help you implement these and other effective habits that will leave you well on your way to living with purpose.